Everybody, welcome to Mining Devs. And today we have Stephen with us. Stephen Grobe, he's the president of Sigma Technologies as well as founder of Jupiter Blockchain, right? And we'll try to learn as much as possible from Stephen here. And he has an industry experience of more than 20 years, and he has been in blockchain since 2013, right? And his experiences are quite valuable when it comes to such a technology. We'll try and cover all the basic questions that you guys have related to blockchain, or how to get started on blockchain. What should be your first piece of code, or where should you get help from? We'll try to cover all those aspects, but what we'll need is attention from you guys. So we'll need quick responses, we'll need questions. So if you guys have any question during our conversations, right, so feel free to post them in the chat box, right, and we'll try and answer all the questions that there are. uh, do try to be at least try to make them related to Bramjot. uh, Bramjot, could you mute yourself? Hello.
Sir, you can also mute him. You are the hostess.
Whoever the presenter is needs to mute him.
I don't believe I am. Gagan, could you
In
do
the
that,
side
please?
corner, we have the option.
Okay, okay, thank you. Gagan, could you kick this person out, please? Yeah, has that person been kicked out yet?
Yeah, they got removed.
Yeah, great, great. Please avoid any further disturbances in this lecture now. If anybody else who's unserious about the lecture, please get out, right? And will not entertain such a thing here at all, right? And please feel free to leave whoever is not interested. We'll try to be, as serious as possible here, because such a technology, and if you are not involved in such a technology, I believe, you are already leaving out a lot of interesting parts that there are yet to achieve, right? And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box. And on that note, Stephen, I think that we shall begin with the very basic question that everybody here wants to understand about, like what exactly is blockchain? What is the buzz all about, right?
Okay. Yeah. Hey. So
Hmm.
my name's Steven. Like I was introduced, and I am the founder of the Jupiter project, which is a blockchain that aims to make um, blockchain accessible and safe for everyone to use. We use military grade encryption, or AES 256, as we do here in the United States for our military, and that helps ensure that the user data is private and secure. And then we use Jupiter to power secure decentralized applications that can run on public or private networks based on my client's wishes. Private network wise, public network wise, Jupiter is an open source blockchain that anyone can use to build on top of, and that's kind of the subject of the topic. But before we get into how to interact with Jupiter, there's some fundamental things that are changing, and you guys and gals are getting into development and building applications at a time where the internet is going through a change. It's kind of growing up. We had the infant stage in the 90s and early 2000s. We've kind of had its teenage years the last 15 years, and the rise of Web 2.0, and basically Web 1 was read. You went to a website and you saw what was on the website, and then Web 2.0 was read and write. You could go to Facebook and you can read somebody else's stuff and you can write to somebody else. And this next version of the internet is Web 3 or Web 3.0, and that's read, write, and own. And that own is very, very powerful. And the reason it's powerful is because you can build applications on top of blockchains to power Facebook like or Twitter like applications that run at my house or your house or anybody's house, but all of those interfaces connect to each other without actually talking to each other because of the way the blockchain works. And that's the new fascinating arena to get into. That's why I am excited about what Jupiter and blockchain is about, because it builds verifiable trustlessness. It's self-governing. It's permissionless. It's fully distributed. It's very robust. It's stateful, and it has native built-in payments. Jupiter has a payment system that you can send money back and forth across the blockchain. So I've said blockchain a few times. And so basically what a blockchain is it is a mathematically verifiable database that is ran across the world that comes to a consensus of the data it stores. And you can't change any of the data that's been stored. So think of it like a tower of blocks, like Legos. You can't take one Lego out of the middle because they're interlocked up and down. You have to take the top off of that Lego, remove the Lego you want to change, put a new Lego in, and then that's the easy part. The hard part is to put the Lego blocks back on top and then tell everybody that's running your blockchain that block you changed is actually the right block. And it won't work. So that's the most amazing part about blockchain technology and the openness and the open source software that you can use to build against all of this stuff. The ownership part of Web3 is where you won't be able to be censored. You will be able to go around nation states blocking, certain applications, certain ways to do business, that those governments that block that kind of stuff will have to adapt, or they'll wither and die. They'll either wither and die because they try to overreach too much and the citizens will stop it, or they'll adapt and they'll flourish. So I'm excited to see, the next 3 to 5 years, how pervasive the Web 3.0 movement becomes. So that's my vision of blockchain and where we're going. And you guys are getting into development at very it's a brand new adoption curve. So you're getting in at the bottom floor of Web3, which is exciting.
Yeah, and Steve, there is a question by Abhinav, and quite a valid question, I believe. Like, how much time does it take to, attain a blockchain expertise? Like, how much should they actually go forward for?
How long does it take to perfect a roundhouse kick? For different people, it takes different lengths of time. I've been doing this since 2013, and I still don't consider myself an expert. But just like anything else in the world, you can be involved in a movement, or you can be involved in a vertical and not be an expert in any one area. But you need to figure out what you're passionate about, and try to become an expert. And if you're always trying to become an expert, you will always continually get better. Once you obtain, if you think you know everything, then you have nothing else to offer. So I am very much a lifelong learner. I never stop learning. I always listen to other people, and I always try to share my experience and the way I kind of view what's going on. So hopefully my views and my opinions can help inform other people to make their own opinions, and hopefully it inspires them to look at what we're doing in the blockchain and the cryptocurrency ecosystem and want to join and participate, because that is where the developers that are learning how to develop today or just finishing school or college or university, they are going to be, they're going to build the next Google, going to build the next Facebook, they're going to build the next Twitter and Instagram and all of these other protocols that we use in a Web 2.0 interface. You guys and gals are going to build the next thing. I'm 40 years old, so I can only do so much. My kids, they're single digits, they're under 10, so they will be the ones that you are building for. You're building my children's bank accounts. You're building my children's Twitter, and that's where it gets really fascinating. If you can step back and look at how the entire human ecosystem flows together, that's when everything becomes very inclusive instead of divisive.
Indeed. I believe, blockchain in itself is a technology which is bringing on revolution, right? And mostly on a scale that we have never imagined before, right? There is a question by Shubham about Web 2 and Web 3, right? I believe the question must be like they might not really know about, what exactly is the word Web 2 means, or what exactly the word Web 3 means, right? Maybe we could shed some more light on to the distinction of Web 2 and Web 3, and why Web 3 is so bigger than Web 2.
Okay, so Web 3, in a very high level sense, developers don't build and deploy applications that run on a single server or that store their data in a single database, and that's usually hosted by a company or a single cloud provider, like Facebook. They own all of the data when you go to Facebook. That's all theirs. It's not yours. It's all theirs. Web3 is different because Web3 runs either like on a blockchain or some other type of decentralized network that has many peer-to-peer nodes or servers, or a combination of the two that forms a crypto economic protocol. These apps are usually called Dapps, or decentralized applications, and you'll see that term used often in the Web3 space because that is one of the founding principles of Web3 is decentralization or distributed computing power. And to achieve this stable and secure network, network participants or developers such as yourself are incentivized to compete to provide the highest quality of services to anyone using the service. Incentivization is not always at the application level where you guys would be working. Sometimes that is at the protocol level. So we at the Jupiter project, we built incentivized applications to give rewarding incentives to like node runners, people that run Jupiter nodes or that stake Jupiter, and that incentivizes people to continually improve the network and to keep a stable network so the applications that you guys and gals build on top of it work all the time, so there's never any downtime. And that provides that decentralized operational framework, and that is Web3 at a very high level.
And like, how can we actually implement Web 3? Now, this is a question by Harshad. Like, how blockchain can be used in our projects? Can we, have a bit of information about Metis as well while we're at it? I believe, if they have a product in hand that they can actually, maybe they can go after this lecture, they can go ahead and check Metis, right? So Metis is already, I believe, an implementation of blockchain in a project, right? So this might answer Harshad's question really good as well. If we can share some details about Metis or how blockchain can be used in a real-time project.
Okay, so what we did here is we built. We wanted to show how this framework would work. So we built Metis, and Metis is a fully encrypted messaging system. So think of like Telegram or WhatsApp, except you can run your own Metis server. every person in this channel can run their own meta server, and you can run it on your MacBook or your Linux box or a server or a Raspberry Pi, and you can type your messages into that computer or that box, and it will be distributed across the entire Jupiter blockchain and read on other people's Metis containers or Metis servers or their computers they're running it on, or the server that we run for public use. And I say it, but it doesn't make sense until you see it work on your computer, and you're typing in your computer and it shows up on somebody else's screen on the other side of the planet. That's when Web3 sinks into your head, because then you know it works and you can build anything that runs on a regular computer, but has the power to talk to the entire planet. So think of Facebook or Twitter running on your laptop from anywhere in the world, and nobody can stop you from saying whatever you want to say, or reading whatever you want to read, or talking to whoever you want to talk to. So Metis, what we did is we are currently rebuilding the web interface. So that web interface would be what you as a local participant would use on your computer. If you go to getmetis.io, you can download the Android version or the Apple iOS version. We're getting ready to release a new version 1.4 that will have voice and video chat, and you'll be able to send Jupiter through the wallet itself. So there's big updates. How that's different is when you open that iOS app currently connects to a node ran by our project. So some people say, well, that's not decentralized. Well, the iOS app has to talk to something, because it's not mature enough yet to just randomly find somebody else's Metis instance. And then if it could, would you, if your Metis instance was selected, would you want it to connect? So that would be an overstep on my business's part to just use your Metis server. However, in future release, you'll be able to select your Metis account, your Metis server, and sync your phone with your instance. So then your phone never talks to anything except for your equipment. And that's where the real innovation starts to happen. You'll be able to add Internet of Things. You'll be able to add home automation, all from your phone inside the Metis app, and you'll be able to send money through the app as well.
Indeed, Metis sounds like a revolutionary idea in itself. You'll control the conversations by your hands. Something which is really, really nice. Right now, if we use any social media like Facebook, Twitter, or something like that, all of them, they are storing their our data and advertising on us, right? So I believe one of the very, very big perks is that Metis is that there would be no advertisements on us. Like, will not be a target of some other companies where we are being sold products, right? So anonymity is something that we can achieve through Metis as well. What I'll urge everybody is at least go to Play Store, have a look at Metis and see the functionalities of Metis. The whole account creation process will tell you, step by step as to what exactly is blockchain and how a blockchain is being used to create an application such as Metis, right? So definitely go ahead, have a look at that application, and the process in itself would be very intriguing for sure. Now there is a question here. Besides cryptos or NFTs, what seems to be the most promising industry for blockchain applications in the near future?
So one of the areas we're doing some work currently is healthcare records. This is just personally for myself. This is a big deal because being in the military for 20 years, and moving around the United States, every time we moved, we had to wait for our medical records to show up. We had to go give all the medical records to our new doctor, and then we hoped that they didn't lose some of the records. So that's a pain point, when you have 4 children and you're moving around and you have, medical records that they lose or they don't have right or whatever. That was one of the main reasons is medical records. Another promising one is voting with decentralized voting. And there's another, I think governments themselves will start using blockchain for transparency, to show the people that they are transparent in what they're doing. Those are the big things, NFTs, they will be important because they will be able to show ownership of things, or ownership of insurance policies or ownership of a vehicle. It'll be how you sign wills and trusts and those types of things. The art-based NFTs, my wife buys the art, so the creative brain is not mine. So I guess I'll leave it at that. You wouldn't catch me paying $69 million for Beeple's little art. No.
And there is another one, like by Ajit. As of now, I'm a beginner in blockchain. So, any suggestions where I can learn blockchain, like from beginning to advanced? What I believe is, Stephen, we should shed some light on blockchain development or a Dapp development, right? We should have a clear distinction of those two things, and
Yeah.
maybe then we can suggest some platforms to them.
Yeah. So blockchain development, in my eyes, is you're building a blockchain. You're building a Jupiter, or you're building an Ethereum, or you're building a Tezos. We don't need more blockchains. We need blockchain developers, or Dapp developers is even a better term. We need people to do a little research on what blockchain they would like to use, what goes to their core, scalability, sustainability, affordability. And I think Jupiter has those 3 qualities. And then you go into the community. You do a little research. If they, GitHub, we have all of our software we build is all open source. All of it's there to look at. I put the GitHub in the chat. If you scroll all the way up, guys and gals, you'll see all of our links. All of it's there, so you can see how we build and what we're building. But Dapp developers can use whatever technology they want, and if they choose a mature blockchain with a robust API system like Jupiter, everything's there for you to program against. It tells you how to do everything. There's extensive documentation, and some of those main functions for our blockchain. If you go to GitHub, it's we've got the Jupiter open source, which is public. The Jupiter Node SDK, because we use Node.js and React heavily for our projects that we code internally. So we built a framework that we could use to rapidly prototype and deploy applications. And then we have a Jupiter file system, which is essentially think like Google Drive, but we're building a web user interface for that. But right now there's a back end for it. And if you said, hey, you know what, that's a great idea, and Google charges $5 a month for people to do this, and I'll charge $1 a month, let me build a UI and build a service. You can literally build your own company on the backs of Jupiter and the developers that build Jupiter. So then you don't have to worry about how the blockchain moves blocks from A to B, because you don't quite care. It's kind of abstracted, but you build your web user interface to scale at the speed of Jupiter. So those are the really big starting points for Jupiter. You know, the API system is very robust. You can do absolutely everything you would dream to do with the Jupiter ecosystem. Node.js, React, or Next.js, you know, a lot of JavaScript, because that is the web language. The language of the web is JavaScript. CSS, HTML, those things, if you can design a beautiful front end, you are in super high demand. Like, if you can do beautiful web fronts, message me, because I need them. Like, there are not enough Dapp developers in the entire ecosystem. There's plenty of blockchains to build on. We don't need more blockchains. We don't need more Shibu Inu. We don't need more whatever Inus. We don't need any more of that stuff, because they're not gonna be here in 6 months.
Definitely. But
And
at the
how do I
same,
know that? And how do I know that? Because I've seen this cycle 3 times.
it's gonna happen right now. You know, this is going to be the fourth time now, right? And definitely, the time is also coming near as the time is passing. Uh, One more thing here, I believe you know, the people here might not. You know, one of the questions I'm not really seeing here, like. What exactly is the salary expectation one can get, or what exactly is the monetary incentivization one can get from being in the blockchain space? This is a question I believe somebody should have asked.
So
That's a
yeah,
question.
so salary, you know, it's, in my opinion, talking to some of my traditional developer friends that go to work every day and they work on regular stuff, and what I pay people more than my friends, and they won't come when it's crazy. I don't know if they're scared, if they're just so stuck in their ways. You know, and it depends on what your specialty is, and how flexible you are, and how the quality of your work is. You know, if you don't do quality work, I won't keep you. Unfortunately, some people say they can do things and they can't, and then when it shows they can't, I have to fire them, and I don't like to do that. I don't like to fire people, because everybody has a purpose and everybody has a goal, but I can't deal with people who lie to get to get things. But salary expectations, it really depends on your specialty, but it can go anywhere from, you know, $2,000 a week up to $5,000 a week, and those are U.S. dollars. So, you know, in urgency, you know, I've paid. I paid one guy. Actually, it was his team that I needed some things done, and I paid them $20,000 for 10 days of work. So the more proficient you become at your craft, the more in demand your craft and your skill set becomes. So, you know, just like you know, a martial artist, you have to continually practice your craft, or you don't become an expert, or you don't continually get better.
Indeed. And right now the space is also, you know, growing at a very fast pace. So there are a lot of job openings too, right? And one of the perks is that even, you know, staying in India, all of the people that are here can actually earn in US dollars, right? Because most of the people are that are working are global. You don't even have to go to a workspace to work, right? And you can actually work remotely from your own locations. So that
Mm-hmm.
will save you time, effort, as well as, you know, earn you enough. So this should be incentive enough to learn a blockchain, right? Now there are a very good series of questions asked by Anuran. Like Ethereum has solidity, is there something that Jupiter has? This is the first one. And what are the common aspects? There are so
So
many languages. Yeah, it's like a huge
yeah,
question.
I usually just follow along. So we don't do so. Ethereum has what's called the Ethereum virtual machine. They are a Turing complete blockchain, which means the entire operation set can run on the blockchain without any outside influence. And that's why you see flash loans And that's why you see these coding errors that people make away with hundreds of millions of dollars, because there's nothing to stop it. Jupiter does not complete everything. There is no EVM on top of Jupiter. It is a totally different blockchain. And then languages, that's the beauty of Jupiter. Jupiter is built in Java and offers every single operation it can perform inside its blockchain as an API. And then it's up to you as the developer to decide how you manipulate those APIs to complete your application's process. So there is no, you must use this programming language to operate with Jupiter. You can use Rust, you can use Python, you can use JavaScript, you can use C++, you can use Java. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you are the best at. And that's why I feel Jupiter is more inclusive than other blockchains, because you don't have to have a certain skill set to program inside the Jupiter blockchain.
I hope that answers your question, Anuran, right? Okay.
Tezos is a multi-billion-dollar scam. That's what separates Jupiter.
Well, it's more like, guys, you need to go into the fundamentals of things in CS to what exactly those are, right? Uh, well, Harish, I believe Anuran has already answered your question. Thank you, Anuran, for that. Mehul has a question: Hyperledger Fabric versus Solidity. Okay.
Let's see. I guess somebody has a doubt.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Let's see.
Well, we'll suggest Mehul to go ahead and Google about it, like what exactly are the differences between them, and that would be the best course of action to do, so that you can actually form your own opinions about them. And well, there's so much right now.
So somebody does have a question, Deepak. For crypto, there's an incentive to do work for the blockchain to keep going, which is mining. But for decentralized social media app, there is no incentive. Where does the chain get enough computing power to prevent 51% attacks? So you're not understanding what is happening. Jupiter is the blockchain. People, we call it staking or forging for proof of stake blockchains. Those people that continually build on the chain get rewarded with transaction fees and rewards that are provided by the team. You would have to have 500 plus million Jupiter to do a 51% attack on Jupiter, which nobody has anywhere near that. And you can see that because it's blockchain. You can see who has that much, and you can prevent it. The decentralized mobile social media app is built on top of that blockchain. So the incentive is the blockchain itself, not the app on top of it. The app is the enabler to be able to have that decentralized social media app. I guess he asked that a whole bunch. Whoa.
Yeah, they have just repeatedly. Yeah.
That's okay. So yeah, that answers that question. That's how that is why it will work, because the app is built on top of a blockchain. It's not a blockchain itself. And that's why all of these other blockchains that people just build or tokens they just spin out won't last, because they're literally just taking money from your pocket.
Yes. There has been a question that, is there any Discord server for Jupiter, and maybe we can repost the links.
At the very top, all of the links are at the very top of the chat window. So if you scroll all the way up, the Discord server's in there. It's jupe.io/Discord.
Let me repost them for you. Yeah. And yeah, definitely.
So start with the Jupiter node. It's literally just labeled Jupiter. It shows you how to build it. It shows you how to start it. And then if you go to that local instance, and that's where you'll see the wallet. You'll see the entire ecosystem, and then you can go to the API console, and that will show you all of the APIs that you can program against. Or if you go to the documentation site, it's still a work in progress. Some of the information is kind of the default stuff when you start a Git book, but I am working hard and diligently to get that stuff updated for you guys. But that's why I put the where we're at Telegram, Discord, because those places, if you don't see something, come ask us. Hey, I'm trying to, I want to build X. I'm stuck at Y. How do I get to Z? And we're going to be there to help. And that's the beautiful part about this community is we always help people. We're trying to build, we're trying to change the world as a cryptocurrency and blockchain ecosystem. What we're building is going to change the world. And I want everybody to be a part of it because I don't think anybody shouldn't be a part of it.
And there is a question by Mehul. How do you manage liquidity in cryptocurrencies?
You manage liquidity by providing incentives. When you go, well, I think the last time I checked, we have over $1 million worth of liquidity in the Ethereum Uniswap pool for Jupiter. We have, I think it was close to 700,000 in the Binance Smart Chain Pancake Swap pool, and then KuCoin, where we are traded. I think we have over $1 million a day in volume. So that's managed by providing incentives. There's a farm on the Ethereum chain, and I provide rewards on Jupiter for the Binance Smart Chain side. You can go to the swap site and bridge your tokens to the mainnet. All you have to do is hold that token, and we pay you every single hour.
Great.
And that's if you go to the swap, if you scroll all the way to the top, I think you may have captured it. Yeah, so if you go to the documentation site, and on the left-hand side, you'll see a shortcut for Jupiter or staking on Jupiter. That'll show you how to get regular staking. And then as you get more comfortable and you provide liquidity on the Binance chain with the Jupiter, then you can move those tokens to the mainnet and gain even more incentives.
Great. How do you leverage the trust of a public DLT while maintaining the advantages of a private DLT networks?
So when we build private and public blockchains, private blockchains don't touch the public internet. They're like the old intranets, and the reason those are necessary are for organizations like the Department of Defense, some government entities. They can't allow people to connect to their nodes for business purposes. It could be an internal accounting firm, could be a law firm that doesn't want anybody to connect to their node network. So they're the same infrastructure, works the exact same way. Just it's an access thing, and those are purpose built for certain things. And while I understand their concern, the people that run those businesses are my age and older and don't understand Web 3.0 and encryption. Anybody that's 25 and younger will build a different ecosystem, and anybody that's my child's age and younger and not born yet will have an entirely different view of the entire planet. I think private networks will be a thing of the past. Everything will be public, and everything will be encrypted.
Definitely, the future that is going to come and is definitely going to change the way we look at the technology itself. Yes. Guys, do we have any other questions? There were a lot of questions though in this lecture as well. I believe, a lot of interested people to know about blockchain and to step into blockchain. Uh, in the meanwhile, let me share, my story as to how I stepped into blockchain. Um, After my college, what I started doing was, just I was, just like you guys. What I was doing was looking here and there for guidance as to how can I step into, blockchain. During that time, something like this was not even happening, and during those days, you won't even see the documentations and videos that are available right now. And you can go to YouTube, check the videos out, and understand a bit about blockchain itself. During those times, nothing of such sorts were there. So one of the best things that I did was I connected to the community. Right, I searched on Telegram. I connected to the community. I was on, and what that did was it helped me a lot to see as to what all I have to learn, right? And from that point onwards, my blockchain journey started, right? So this is one of the best things that you guys can do. Just join the Discord server that we are sharing, and one of the best things about this community is that everybody is so welcoming. Even if you ask a silly question, they'll reply it with very humble tone, right? So you don't even have to worry about anything there. You are safe actually, and ask anything that you want to, and everybody will reply you with an answer, definitely. And to go ahead, join the community, right? And if you guys have any question, maybe we can take that in the community channels itself, right? And with that note, I think all the questions are almost over. So maybe we can end the session, right?
Yeah. Also, I'll wrap it up. So basically, to piggyback, the only question that people will give you crap about is if you show up and you ask when moon, and then everybody will just rip on you. So don't show up and ask that. um, but the main developer that we're looking for as project owners, because I know many project owners and I know a lot of teams that are looking. We need front end people. We need people that design websites. We need people that can code a website from an API system, that we can give you a framework and say, hey, we need you to build X, and then you build it. And that is where the ecosystem is really at right now. I did miss something. So in the staking for Jupiter, we have our own browser extension called Europa. It's similar to MetaMask. So if you have Chrome or Brave for your web browser, Firefox is coming soon. My developer's building that right now. But you'll be able to use Jupiter inside that extension. And whenever Google approves this version that I just uploaded yesterday, you'll be able to buy and sell Forge inside the application or inside the extension itself. So you'll have one-click access to staking on the network, and that'll be a game changer for our project because it brings use and usability and ease of use to everybody that uses it. So where do you start? I think we kind of went over that. Start at Jupiter, download the Jupiter node, look around, and then in our repos, the SDK, the software development kit. That's where you would start looking at how Node.js talks to the blockchain application itself, and then you pull, and then whatever scaffolding you use, React, React Native, Express, however you want to layer your user interface or user experience on top of that API system. That's really it. I mean, it's very easy to get into. It's regular web technology to program on top of Jupiter. IPFS is something that we look at. It's not what you build on. IPFS is a file system, so you would build you would use IPFS the exact same way you would use Jupiter, except for IPFS is just for file storage. There's no monetary or there's no value creation in IPFS. It's just a storage system that's semi-decentralized. But we are going to use IPFS in some of our stuff because it is decentralized enough to store some of the things we want to store. So it's not a bad thing. It's just not. It's just another tool to complete the task.
I hope that answers your question, Anuran. Is there any other doubt? Great.
No problem.
And great. I believe if any other question is there, maybe we can pick it up in Discord, right, guys? Join the Discord, and if you have questions, fire it up there, right? And definitely do have a look at Metis so that you guys understand as to how you can link the front end, back end, and blockchain, right? All of those things. So try Metis and see about that for yourself, right? Uh, Thank you, Stephen. Thank you so much for your time, right? Any closing statements that you have?
No, just keep working, keep grinding, keep learning, and then we need front end developers. So go and check out the repositories, and then think of an idea. Whatever idea you want to build, and build it on top of Jupiter, and then come into the community and show us what you built so we can support you. Or if you look and you say, hey, I think we need this, whatever the product is or whatever the front end is. We have development grants that will pay you in Jupiter. So please reach out, come to the community, hang out, check it out. And we look forward to you guys and gals joining the team.
Great, great. So do that, guys, and we'll see you again, right? And the recordings will be available, and we'll share all the links with the organizers, right? And all of those stuff will be shared. Thank you for such a polite audience. Well, and I hope the organizers will take actions against the fringe cases that were here. And thank you so much for your time, Stephen. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for being here. Yeah, it was definitely
Appreciate it.
very insightful.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you very much.
Bye bye. Bye everyone.